Welcome to the Sam Davis Home. Located in Smyrna, Tennessee, the Sam Davis Home was built along the banks of Stewart's Creek in 1820. This historic home and museum rests on 160 acres of farmland in the heart of Middle Tennessee. Sam Davis was born on October 6, 1842, in Rutherford County, Tennessee. Sam grew up on the family farm and joined the Confederate Army in 1861. By 1863, the Union Army occupied much of Middle Tennessee. Sam had become a scout for the Confederacy and traveled throughout the Middle Tennessee region. Even though he wore a Confederate uniform and traveled with passes signed by Confederate General Braxton Bragg, the Union Army considered him a spy if captured. On November 20th, 1863, as Sam traveled toward Chattanooga, he was captured by federal troops near Minor Hill, Tennessee. Sam was tried and found guilty of being a spy and was sentenced to be hanged. Before being hanged, he was offered his freedom in exchange for revealing his sources. Sam stated with his last words that, "I would die 1,000 deaths before I would betray a friend," and was hanged on November 27, 1863.
It's the story of a young man just barely 21 years old. Matter of fact, he was 21 years, 1 month, and 21 days, and chose to die rather than betray his friend. How many today would give their life to save a friend, especially someone at just such a young age as 21 as Sam was? And he said that the person I'm protecting is worth a whole lot more to the Confederacy than I am. He never hesitated about giving his life. I mean, all he had to do was tell where his captain was, and he would be given his gun back, his horse back, and an escort back to enemy line. In essence, his life would be spared. But he chose to die rather than betray his friend, his captain, Henry Shaw.
After his death, Sam's brother Oscar and a close friend of the family went to Pulaski, Tennessee to retrieve Sam's body.
When they got there, they paid a grave digger $20 to dig up the body, opened the lid, and John Kennedy, the family friend, says that the sack over Sam's head was still there with long white strings tied around his neck several times. And then he pulled back the sack up to about the nose, and he said the face was black yet recognizable. And at this time, many of the Yankee soldiers had come up around and pulled their hats off, put it over their hearts, and said, if there's anything we can do, let us know, because they all did not want Sam to die either, because he was such a likable person, and they viewed him as this kid. And many of the Yankee soldiers had been heard saying that they wished this boy would have gotten away, and were seen wiping tears from their eyes. They come through the front gates of a home. Sam's mother, Jane, sees this. She throws her hands above her head and faints. And they have the funeral in the front parlor, the former parlor of the house, on Christmas Eve. And then his mother has his body reburied in a grave across the creek. So now Sam's been buried twice. Sam is there for about a year, and then his mother has him reburied back here in her back garden. Sam being buried 3 times now. And then in 1866, the remaining scouts, the network of scouts that Sam was working with, purchased this Italian marble monument for $2,000. Now, $2,000 is a lot of money today. That's a whole lot of money in 1866. And they had it placed there in his honor. And he's known now as the boy hero of the Confederacy.
Our new museum was opened in November of 2003. The Sam Davis Memorial Association saw a dream that we needed to have a larger facility with the museum to better interpret what we have here, our wonderful legacy that we have here of Sam Davis and his family and our grounds. Every time we have visitors that come to the Sam Davis home that have been here before the museum opened, they're always in awe of how beautiful and what a wonderful job we've done here.
My name is Betty Adams, and I'm the director of the senior adults at Victory Baptist Church in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. And several years ago, and it may have been with a Cub Scout troop, I came to the Sam Davis home, and it is altogether different. I love it. And we have people that live close to here that probably don't know this place is here.
We had an archaeological dig done a few years ago by Middle Tennessee State University, and in the Public History Department did a wonderful exhibit that we won the Tennessee Association of Museums Award of Excellence in March of 2007 for, and it's an exhibit that interprets the African American life here at the Davis Plantation during the 1860s. On the right side of the house, we have what we call Cabin Row. And on Cabin Row, we have 4 slave cabins, which helps us interpret the full story of life as it was during the 1860s when the Davises lived here on the plantation. As you can see behind me, the cabins back up to the fields, which might have looked somewhat like this when the Davises lived here. The front part of the house, which we are standing in, this is the front foyer, and this is the original part of the house. As you go up the stairwell, you'll go to the boys' side of the house. The interesting thing about the Sam Davis home is that there are 2 stairwells, and there's a wall between the 2 separate sides of the home, separating the boys' side from the girls' side. The Sam Davis Home and Grounds have a lot to offer in addition to the wonderful historic tours and our museum. We have a lot of events that we host out here, from the barbecue festival that we have every June to our pumpkin patch and our ghost tours during Halloween. We have a lot of educational activities where we have field trips out here, or we go to the school for field trips, but we also have heritage days and days on the farm where we have everything that you might have seen on a plantation during the 1860s out here. We have 3 summer camps that we host here at the Sam Davis Home. We have the Apple Valley School, which simulates a 1-room schoolhouse during the 1800s, and that is very popular. We've been doing that for several years, and the kids love it. We also have School of the Soldier, which we have had several boys here learning about what soldier life is like during the Civil War time period. They get to eat goodies such as hardtack and goober peas. They write letters to their mothers as if they were soldiers during the Civil War and away from their families, and they learn how to march in formation. They also have rain sometimes and realize that soldier life doesn't just happen when it's sunny and nice outside.